Authentic Career and Life Design. This is the podcast and channel where we talk about all things career, from job searching to resume writing, from career decision making and career transitions to academic pursuits. I'm your host, Laura, and I've dedicated my entire career to helping individuals throughout the process, helping them navigate career choices with confidence, clarity, and authenticity. Welcome back to Authentic Career and Life Design. Today's episode is Step 5. This is from a series, Mastering Your Job Search in 10 Essential Steps. You can see the previous episodes on steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, or watch the overview episode, Mastering Your Job Search in 10 Essential Steps. P.S. My first episode. You can see how much better I've gotten, hopefully. In this episode, we're covering seeking expert advice and how it can really be a game changer. We can gain inside information, knowledge, we can get feedback and advice. So tapping into an expert gives us a real wealth of information from those who have walked before us and are experts in their field. So stick around to learn how you can gain valuable perspectives from experts. Let's get the show on the road. We're talking about seeking expert guidance today. And there's a little bit of overlap with our last episode, which was on networking effectively, and I may refer to that. But today we're really going to focus on those members of your network that you've developed who are experts. So the first question we have is, what makes an expert? You may have heard the stat before. I've heard it many times that it takes 10,000 hours to become a pro at something or an expert at something. And when you think about 10,000 hours, it takes about 10 years to put in that amount of time in your career field or practicing a sport or an instrument. Those are the hours needed to become an expert. Basically, an expert is someone who knows a lot about a particular subject and has achieved a level of mastery in that field. So they may be characterized by having a combination of deep knowledge, lots of years of experience, problem-solving abilities, and recognition by others, all right? Although that's not necessarily a requirement. So not everybody in your network, maybe only a few people in your network are going to be experts, but there may be people in your network who know other experts that you might be able to connect with. Experts can be found in every career field, and they're not necessarily the top dog, the person in charge, right? Not every CEO is an expert, and not every expert is a CEO. Plenty of experts are not CEOs. So what that means is you need to really think about, where might you find experts? So I want you to think about the following areas and think about people in your life that you know. Or again, remember, there might be someone already in your life who might know someone that fits with this description. So experts can be found in academic settings. So they may be academic researchers, professors, scientists, and scholars who conduct research and publish their studies. Experts. Number 2, industry professionals, right? So these are professionals who have accumulated years, 8 to 10 or more years of experience and expertise in a particular field. Number 3 are consultants, right? So these are subject matter experts who are hired by organizations and businesses because they specialize in their field and a particular subject. And the last one I'm going to talk about is trainers and coaches. So professionals who provide training, coaching, and mentorship to help individuals better develop specific skills or achieve goals. So like we talked about in the last episode on networking effectively, there are some good tools and tips in that episode that help you figure out who in your network is an expert. So platforms like LinkedIn are a treasure trove for potential experts. You don't even have to know them. You can join groups within LinkedIn in your field and you'll see who the experts are. Maybe you reach out to people and look for certain job titles or look for people who are well known in their field through those professional associations. Don't overlook your alma mater. They might have an alumni network. These can be a real gold mine for finding potential mentors, advisors, and of course, experts. So now that you've identified who your experts are, and maybe you've reached out to them and you have an opportunity to meet with them, it's a great idea to set up a phone conversation, a Zoom conversation. You could even meet them for coffee or lunch if they happen to be in your vicinity. But what you want to do is be prepared. So the next thing we're going to talk about is questions to ask the expert. So you want to be prepared, you want to have a plan, and you want to make the most of their time and yours. Often experts are very, very busy people who are in high demand. So having a meeting with them or taking up their time, you want to be very cognizant of what that's like for them so that you can keep within the time frame that you've decided upon. Also, you want to make sure that you have something to take notes with, whether you do it on a tablet, on your laptop, or old-fashioned pen and paper. I tell you, there's nothing more frustrating for me than when I meet with a client or a professional or someone who wants to interview me and they don't have anything to write with, they have no way to take notes, especially when at the end of it, they ask me to type up kind of the things that I said or ask me for my notes. Do not do that. Come prepared and ready to take notes. Okay, your main goal in meeting with an expert is really to get that insider information. There's some other things we'll talk about in a moment, but really that is your goal. Pick their brain. What do they know about it? I pulled together a worksheet for you that has some great questions on it and ways that you can track all the experts with whom you meet. But experts often have deep insights into their industry, their organization, or the job market in general. So the majority of your time is going to be spent gathering this type of information. The first type is industry trends. This is a rare opportunity for you to gain that valuable insight. Things like, what's the current landscape? What are emerging developments? What's hot? What's on the horizon? And what are the future directions within the industry? So this is someone in the trenches who's seen it firsthand, who can share that information with you. So questions that you might ask. Number one, what are the most significant trends currently shaping this industry? Number two, how have recent technological advancements impacted the industry? Right? So a question I like to ask is, how has AI affected the work that you do? How do you see AI affecting the work you do in the future? Great questions. Three, how is the workforce evolving within this industry? What skills are becoming increasingly valuable or in demand? We all know this. Right now, the job market is a hot mess. Many places it's great and many places it's terrible. And there are so many things in between and organizations that are having trouble finding talent. So getting to this question about the workforce will really help you because you're doing a job search in the field, and that will help direct you in what you need to focus on. Another great question is, what are the key challenges and obstacles that you are facing in your industry? And again, this is going to be a great perspective from someone who's sitting in that industry and they're living and thinking about it every day. How are industry leaders innovating and differentiating themselves? A good question, so that if you have skills around these areas, all these questions, all these answers are going to give you fodder for your interview. So if your expert tells you things and you think, oh, I've done that, then you want to make sure that you talk about that in an interview. But not in your discussion with your expert at this time. You can circle back to it, you can write a note, and then come back to it. You were talking about how this was one skill that was really needed. This is how I kind of think about my own skills and how they fit. What do you think about me sharing that in an interview? Right? So we're kind of seeping into getting that feedback. Is what are the implications that the global economy is having on this industry? That's a really helpful question. So if it's a dying industry or a dying career field, you want to know that. But if it has huge growth, that's really helpful too. I like this question. Are there any sustainability or ethical considerations that are becoming more prominent in this industry? But hearing this from someone who is an expert in their field will really give you that insider information. Is what predictions do you have for the future in the next 5 to 10 years? Maybe 1 to 3 things that you might share about that. Really good insights. And you never want to forget this question, which is, what advice do you have for someone entering this field? Okay, so, or re-entering if you're just going back into it. So these are the top questions that I would want you to work in. Now remember, when you're meeting with an expert, they're going to have a lot to say. Why? Because they're an expert. Okay, so all of those questions, you may not even get through all of those in a half hour discussion. So what you could do if you don't is you could say, gosh, we've used up all our time. I don't want to take any more of your time. Is it okay if I follow up with some questions? So you can ask that if you didn't get all of them done. If you do find yourself with more time, after thanking them profusely, it might be a good time to say, if you feel like you've developed a rapport with them, say, I brought a copy of my resume with me. Might you be willing to look at it and give me some feedback? I have a hard copy right here, so you have a printed copy, or I'm happy to email it to you, okay? Another thing that you can do is ask them for networking guidance. So just say, is there anyone in your own network that you think would be helpful for me to speak with? If they say yes, you could say, might you be willing to introduce them to me? There is another type of expert that I think is really important, and I know it is over the years because it's what I've built my field on. But a professional career coach is also an expert. So we're an expert of a different kind, which means that we are an expert in the art and the process of finding jobs, writing resumes and cover letters, figuring out new career directions, figuring out whether or not grad professional school is what's next from you. Actually, the client I met with last week, that was our whole discussion. Do I go to grad school now? Do I wait? And if I go to grad school, what exactly I'm trying to decide between these two things. And we spent, a good 45 minutes going through and helping that client make those decisions. So career coaches can really help you. They know the questions to ask. They can suss out the information so that you're making a solid decision. I do have a blog post called What is Keeping You from Seeing a Career Coach? That might be helpful if you're someone contemplating it, but you're not really sure. A lot of times people think they have to have it all figured out, or that career coach will judge them maybe for mistakes or, circumstances that have happened in the past. Remember, I'm Laura from Authentic Career and Life Design, and I called it that on purpose. I'm not going to judge you. We're just going to start where you are, figure out where you want to go, and do all the steps it takes to get you there. So I do hope that you consider meeting with a career coach. If you are a recent grad or a current college student, your college, your alma mater has a career center, and I would encourage you to meet with them, see how that goes, and see what kind of resources and services they can offer you. Parting thoughts. There's no need to go it alone in your job search journey. Tapping into experts who are probably more than happy to help you and guide you and give you the information that you're asking. These people have walked the path. They have been in your shoes, and they will be able to relate to you and understand where you are. And all they want to do is help you succeed, just like I do. So whether you're connecting with an industry professional, academic researchers, consultants, or me, career coach, tapping into knowledge of experts can provide invaluable insights and support. Thank you so much for tuning in to Authentic Career and Life Design. I don't want you to miss any upcoming episodes. So if you can, subscribe to my YouTube channel or this podcast on your favorite podcast platform. You can also subscribe to the blog at authentic-careers.com, or you can contact me, Laura, at authentic-careers.com. If you found this episode helpful, please leave me a review. And if you want to work with me, start with a free discovery call. I do 15-minute free call. You can sign up for that by heading over to authentic-careers.com/discovery. Thank you so much. See you next week.